Hello, everyone. I am live again to help you all decide whether or not my new Thrive membership is for you. So, this is a part two of a live stream that I did about a week ago, maybe a week and a half ago, where I introduced the membership, talked all about it, and then also gave a little bit of a tarot reading for anyone who is interested in understanding better whether or not this membership is for them. Now, I don't always do tarot readings online anymore. It is a big part of my personal practice, but because this membership is specifically for spiritual practitioners growing spiritual businesses, and because I first started as a tarot reader in my journey with entrepreneurship, it just felt really fun and exciting to bring the tarot into this conversation. And so I've got my cards again, and we are going to continue this discussion about how to know if the Thrive membership is for you. And so basically, the approach that I'm taking here is I have some questions up on my monitor over there. And these questions are really just to help me get to know the person who is a fit for this membership. And as I do this reading live in public with you, you can start to listen for anything that you resonate with, anything that, is standing out to you, is calling to you. And that will help you discern for yourself whether or not you are the right person. So if you're here right now, make sure you hang out with me, listen to, everything that I'm about to say. And then if you want further exploration, if you are feeling called to membership and you want some confirmation, you can also go ahead and listen to the live stream that I did a week and a half ago. I only have ever done 3 live streams on YouTube, so it will be very easy for you to find. And I will say that at the time of this recording, there are about 4 more days to join the Thrive membership. It closes on July 17th. And so that's why I am making sure to help everyone who's interested get super clear on whether or not this is the best next step for them. If you know me, you know that I love and I'm all about helping people make informed decisions before they sign up to work with me. And this just feels like a really beautiful way to honor that. And so let's do it. Okay. The question that we left off with yesterday a week and a half ago, basically, effectively yesterday. Time is fake. The question that we are up to now, though, what is this membership going to help them do? So, of course, I have some stuff in my mind, but let's see about the cards. So, we had one pop out immediately, which was the 9 of Pentacles in reverse. And this feels like a good time to give context on how I read reversals. And for any of you who have a tarot practice, I read reversals in a specific way, and you all read reversals in your own ways. And so the way that I do reversals is I look at one of two things. So, first, I think that a reversal might be an internal energy. So, for example, if you get an ace in reverse, it might be saying that it's not that, like, the new beginning is going to come from outside of you. It's not like someone else is going to approach you with an opportunity. It's actually inviting you to dig deeper and to look at what opportunities you already have within you that you are not utilizing to their full capacity, or something where you could be supporting yourself more and relying on your own resources more. So that's one way that I look at reversals. I also look at reversals as if we are moving backwards in the tarot. So, for example, this is a 9 reverse, and sometimes I'll look at it as if, we're going backwards and looking at the 8 because the reversal is pointing us in that backwards direction. So those are the 2 different ways that I read reversals. I figure we'll look at this card and we'll see and feel into like which of those makes sense here. So given that it's a 9 of Pentacles in reverse and it's about what the Thrive membership is going to help people do, I really see this as helping people build up their internal resources and build up their own ability to be self-sufficient. But also, when we think about a reversal, it's not just like, because the 9 of Pentacles is a very self-sufficient energy when it's upright. This feels like someone who is digging so deep within themselves that they are not dependent on any of these like pentacle things. So pentacles are like your external resources. money, maybe connections and friendships, followers online, like anything that you consider to be a resource, those would be your pentacles. And traditionally, the Nine of Pentacles energy is someone who is very resourced and who is basically super content and satisfied and feeling very self sufficient and feeling very fulfilled. So when it's in reverse, it feels like even those external things are not where your fulfillment is coming from, but you're getting a deep, deep sense of fulfillment and security and safety and provision and all of that, not even from the external things. And so this speaks to me almost about like a really spiritual fulfillment. Like you're feeling so full on the inside that you don't need to chase the external results. And of course, you get to have the external results, but that's not where your fulfillment and your satisfaction is coming from. It's definitely not where your sense of self is coming from. And so it feels like this membership is helping people to transcend that need for the external resources as a means of validation. Now, this is a whole conversation that we could have for hours and hours, but it feels right to actually pull another card and just see if there's anything else to add on to this. Ooh, okay, we have a few things coming out. A lot of reversals, actually. So the Seven of Wands reverse speaks about no longer being defensive, um, and really just speaks about letting down any appearance of a threat, letting down a need to defend yourself. So if any of you are trying to stockpile resources or hoard resources. I know that in the last reading we had the Four of Pentacles in reverse, which is like someone who's hoarding. So if you are someone who is hoarding because you are feeling like you have to defend yourself or protect yourself from something, there is a sense of like letting those guards down and letting yourself be held in a new way, and realizing that you don't always have to be on some like uphill battle. Because if we look at this upright, it's like this person has all of this energy coming at them and they're going on this battle trying to like fend it off. And I really consider the Seven of Wands in reverse to be like, you're no longer defensive anymore. You're not trying to, ward off any threat. You don't feel like anything is like coming at you. And in line with this Nine of Pentacles in reverse, it's like your sense of safety isn't external anymore. And so you don't need to chase some kind of external circumstance or situation in order to be safe and okay. You just know that you're safe and okay. And that is honestly a really, really, really beautiful place to be in. And I'm really honored to be seeing this reading, because the fact that this membership is going to help people reach that place within themselves, first of all, so necessary for business owners, because we can't position, and if you have done anything with me, you can't position your clients as your source. You can't position, your email list or your following online or any of that as your source. You have to be sourced internally. You have to be sourced from spirit, because otherwise you will go on this chase and you will start to feel like there's a constant battle and a threat and like something to keep up with and something to fight off. And we want to just like let go of that entirely and really come home to ourselves. And this Nine of Pentacles in reverse really does feel like this deep internal homecoming that allows you to access that sense of safety no matter what. We also have the Page of Swords in reverse. And for me, the Page of Swords in reverse, the pages in reverse generally speak to like growing up or maturing for me in my practice. And so when I see a page in reverse, I feel that there is someone who is reaching a new level of maturity in some area. And then the swords are, communication, but also your mindset. So you're growing up internally. You're growing up in how you view yourself and how you view your business. Your message might be maturing. So, in terms of like what you share online, you're likely someone who's going through an up level in terms of what you say and what the vision and the mission is for your business and what you're here to communicate and get across to people. And so it really just speaks to this idea that like as you have this deep internal shift, you're going to want to communicate differently and you're going to want to think differently about life, about business. Again, like deep transformation vibes, but really this sense of like you're growing up. You're growing up in your communication. You're growing up in your message. You're growing up in how you think about your own work. And that, of course, is going to translate into growing up in how you communicate and speak about your own work. So, this membership is really going to help people have a deep internal transformation that then gets translated out into a maturing of your messaging. And as we all know, when you mature and you uplevel your messaging, you also call in a higher level person. And when I say a higher level person, I just mean someone who is more committed, someone who's more devoted, someone who's more serious about what it is that they're doing, what it is that they're, whatever they would be coming to you for. So, for example, if you are a tarot reader like I was for the first couple years of my business, you might notice that you're attracting some people who are like skeptical of tarot. They don't really care. They just booked this reading for fun, but it doesn't mean very much to them. And maybe now you'll be calling in people who are trusting you with really sacred decisions and who are really honoring your word and who are really taking this tarot thing super seriously, and that will just create a more fulfilling work life for you. If you are a teacher like how I am and you do a lot of courses, maybe right now you've been having a bunch of people sign up for your courses but not really take them and not really participate, and it feels a little bit dull. And so maybe through the maturing of this, you're going to be able to command and call in people who are ready to do the work, people who are super excited to learn from you, people who are going to prioritize, doing what it is that the course entails, and it's just going to be more fulfilling. So overall, what I'm seeing is like this deeper level of fulfillment in your work overall. And that again just really brings us back to this place of like this Nine of Pentacles in reverse of you're fulfilled on the inside. The external is amazing, but you're really fulfilled from something much deeper that the world didn't give you and that the world can't take away. So again, super honored to be doing this work in this membership. And I know that it is going to help so many amazing people get to that place. So that was one question. We also have, what is the work that we're doing together in the membership? So I have a description online of, what is the nuts and bolts work, like what does the membership include, what's going to happen when you join. But let's read the energy of the work and start to get a sense of like, how is this going to really feel and how is this going to impact people, and what is really the vibe of the work that we're doing. Ooh, okay, super good. So the Six of Pentacles has come out, and that to me really, really speaks of generosity. And if you listen to the Cozy Co-Creation podcast, which I would recommend all of you go ahead and listen to the Cozy Co-Creation podcast. It's so good, if I say so myself. And I just released episode 63 earlier today. And that is speaking about the power of generosity and what generosity really can do for you as a business owner, but also like spiritual reasons for why we would want to be generous and to really prioritize generosity in our businesses. And so this energy, we're going to be connecting really deeply to generosity. And I can already tell you we're going to be connecting deeply to generosity because I've been having so many breakthroughs about generosity and why we are generous and what generosity really entails and looks like and what the benefits of generosity are and all this stuff. And I know that we're going to be exploring that in Receptive to Revenue, which is a group coaching program that I'm running right now. That is going to be our next chapter that we step into on Monday. And we've already explored generosity and receptive to revenue. That's actually one of the main themes that we discuss. But I also released an episode today where I was talking about generosity in the context of your free content and your free experiences and like all the stuff that you give away for free as gifts to the internet. And so that is an episode that's really worth listening to. And in the context of this membership, it is really supportive of helping people who maybe are burned out. Maybe they feel like they're overgiving. Maybe they understand that they have a lot to give and that they should be giving, but they're struggling to actually give it. And they're feeling frustrated by maybe the response that they're getting back or feeling like it's not coming back around to them. They're giving and giving and giving and not receiving. There's also this sense of like, so that'll be some of you. And for others of you, it's like, maybe you don't know what you have to give. You're not in touch with it. You don't feel lit up by your work. You don't feel lit up by your gifts. You maybe are just surrounded by a bunch of people who you think are better than you, or maybe you feel like There's all these reasons why other people have more to give than you do. And so there's work there on understanding the value of what you have to offer. And then once you understand the value of what you have to offer, you will have no problem giving it. But generosity is a key component of business. It's a key component of marketing. It's a key component of sales. It's a key component of how you structure your products and your offers. It's a key component of everything that we do as spiritual practitioners. And so I am really excited to see generosity and the Six of Pentacles coming out as a core theme that we will be exploring and working through in this membership, because it is so, so important. We also have judgment here. So judgment in my practice speaks of letting go of that crime, punishment, reward, punishment, like basically all the punitive energy that we can often feel in our businesses. A lot of people get superstitious about their businesses, and they feel like if something isn't going their way, it's because they did something wrong. I was actually speaking with a client earlier this week who had a launch that did not end well. And we basically were doing a reading about it. I don't always do readings with my clients, but sometimes when the spirit moves me, I will do a reading with a client. We were doing a reading about it, and I was just kind of saying, okay, these are the cards. How much of this is resonating with you? And the client was like, well, that does resonate with me, but I don't think I did anything wrong. I don't think it was wrong for me to be doing X, Y, and Z thing that I did. And I have a lot of compassion for this, because I think a lot of times if something doesn't go our way, our assumption is we did something wrong and we're being punished, or we should have done something differently. But when I look at the Judgment card, and we look at like this person getting resurrected and stuff like that, to me, it speaks to this energy of like, you're not too far gone. It's not like a matter of like, oh, I did something horrible and I screwed everything up. It really just speaks to this sense that like everything can be sorted out, taken care of. There's grace available to you. If you're in Moody and Magnetic, you understand the concept of grace, because we had a lesson on it in module 6. But you understand that like even if you don't do everything perfectly, it's not like anyone is judging you or holding it against you or like trying to hurt you because you did the wrong thing, quote unquote. It more speaks to like being willing to have an honest conversation with yourself and to be reflective and cultivating that opportunity to like observe yourself without berating yourself, without being mean to yourself, but being willing to see like, what am I doing here that is contributing to an outcome that doesn't work for me? And is there anything that I'm being invited to do differently, from a really, really non-judgmental, really honest place? And so to me, this Judgment card, especially with this person getting resurrected on it, is like everything can be turned around. Nothing is too far gone. It's not like, the universe is saying no to your business, which a lot of people can feel if something doesn't go their way. But really, it's just a sign to keep looking for that thing that is going to turn it around. Keep asking yourself, like, what can I do that would move this in a different direction? What am I being called to do differently here? And commit to the fact that you do get to have your desired outcome, whether it's this launch or the next one, right? But like your desired outcome is a desire for a reason. I was teaching in Receptive to Revenue the other day, and I was basically saying that like your desires are proof from God that you get to have something. That is actually a quote from Denzel Washington. But your desires are proof from God that you get to have it. So if you have a desired outcome that you want to achieve in your business, no one is going to say, oh, well, you didn't post perfectly and so you don't get to have it. Maybe this launch that didn't happen, but show up to the next launch, learn from what you didn't do well, or learn from what you could have done differently, and be willing to tweak it and refine it and like be there for it, so that when the result unfolds, you're ready to receive it, right? Another thing coming through, and this is like this is a reading and it's turning into like advice, and and also my membership is open, so just receive all of this, I guess. But another thing coming through briefly is like, you know, they say God is preparing you for what God has prepared for you. I'm going to say that again because it can be a little tricky. God is preparing you for what God has prepared for you. So God has prepared all of your desired outcomes. They are yours. You get to have them. But God has to actually get you ready, has to build up your capacity, has to build up your skill set, has to make you into the version of you that can actually live out and handle and carry everything that you desire, right? If you give a baby a driver's license, that could be very destructive, but it's not saying that that human will never drive a car. It's like you have to be prepared. You have to go through various things before you can be trusted to drive a car. And so God is going to give you all of your desired outcomes in your business, but God is going to prepare you for them. Now, a lot of people view this preparation process as punitive, as, why isn't it happening yet? It's happening for that other person. Why hasn't it happened for me? I've been doing this longer than that other person, or that other person doesn't have what I have, or all this stuff where we can start to draw the conclusion that we're being punished, and then we can start judging ourselves. But I think this judgment card, and again, this resurrection on it, it really speaks to this idea that, like, we are always going to have everything that our desires say we get to have, that spirit says that we get to have. And so it's not a matter of why them and not me. It's not a matter of why not, why hasn't it happened? It's always a matter of asking yourself, like, who am I being called to be right now? Is there something that I actually need to shift so that I can be prepared mentally, physically, logistically, emotionally to handle what it is that I'm praying for? Because again, you can't give a baby a driver's license, right? But if you actually ask yourself, like, what do I need to actually cultivate here within me to be able to receive this, and for it to not be destructive, for it to actually be beneficial, for it to actually move me out of the patterns and move me out of the, situations that I no longer want to be in, what needs to change? And can you look at yourself, and can you be honest, and can you be willing to shift and transform enough to be able to receive the thing that you want? So I don't even remember what question this was. Oh, what's the work we're going to be doing together? Oh, haha, a lot. We're going to be transforming you. We're going to be helping you prepare for what it is that God has prepared for you. And then, especially with this judgment, there will be some self-analysis. And I do offer a lot of reflection in my memberships. There will be opportunities for you to really look at yourself and to see, like, okay, this is what I want. Am I prepared for it? Is there something else that needs to occur? And getting out of that habit of blaming yourself and judging yourself and becoming this, like, punitive voice in your head, and really being willing to look at this resurrection and to say, I can come back from anything. There is nothing too far gone. There is nothing too far gone. I can come back from anything. Even when it's over, it's not over. Everything can come back. So that is the work that we'll be doing. And then the last one is, what are people going to master specifically inside this membership? And so with this one, just listen and see, are the things that the members are going to be mastering things that you're feeling called to master in this season, or things that would feel important for you to master? Because this one is going to close on Wednesday. And so even if you're like, this isn't something I need to master right now, this second, if you want to be in on the membership because this is going to be important for you to master in a future season, get in on the membership before Wednesday, because after that, the doors are going to close. So what are the people specifically going to master? We have 3 cards out. Ooh, we're back on 7 of Wands train in reverse. So again, that speaks to not being defensive. And I think there's just a lot of people who feel threatened in their businesses. And threatened can be anything. Maybe you feel threatened by other similar practitioners. Maybe you feel threatened by competitors. Maybe you feel threatened by your own circumstances in life, and you're putting a lot of pressure on your business to grow so that your circumstances can change. Maybe you feel threatened by your own thoughts. Maybe you feel threatened by family members who don't agree with you and who are pressuring you to give up on your business. Like, there's so many reasons why anyone might feel threatened. And there is a sense of just releasing that threat, releasing the appearance of the threat. And that makes sense, because a lot of what we talk about in my programs, and a lot of what we're going to be doing in this membership, is releasing your nervous system from that fight, flight, freeze mode, and really, like, allowing yourself to relax and allowing yourself to cultivate that sense of unconditional safety that can only come from doing the work on your nervous system that we do in this membership. And so if you are feeling on edge, if you feel like you are defending yourself against something mental, spiritual, physical, logistical, material, etc., This membership is really going to help you not feel so threatened or not feel threatened at all and come home and rest and really like relax in your body when it comes to your business. We also have the Lovers card upright. And to me, the Lovers card really speaks of, I mean, obviously love, obviously matches and intimacy, and also given where it is in the tarot, like given where it's situated in the deck, it also speaks to this idea of like the blending of passion and like your own individual interests and passions with those of another person, knowing that you have, cultivated a sense of self and you are ready to be in a mature, loving partnership with someone else who has cultivated a sense of self. And so when it comes to business, this really speaks to me about like your client relationships. I don't have clients that I don't love. And if there are clients that I don't love, they are not my clients for very long. And that might sound harsh, but I have set a standard in my business where I want to love what I do every day. And part of that is loving who I spend time with every day, loving the conversations I get to have, loving the messages I get to listen to in my Voxer from my clients. Like, I want to love my work. And the people aspect is such a big factor of my work, right? Like, I create for humans, I hold space for humans. This is very human facing. And so if I'm not in love with the people, and of course it's not romantic, but like I am passionate and invested emotionally in every one of my clients. And it doesn't feel like it's like an unhealthy, like overinvestment, but it's like you matter to me. All of my clients really matter to me. And I know that there is a season of business that some people can get into where they just feel so like desperate almost for any client whatsoever, that they don't hold the standard for the kind of client they actually want to have. And then they get resentful because maybe people sign up, but they're not the right people. And then all of a sudden, they don't really like their business anymore and they want to quit. And so, loving your clients matters way more than a lot of people want to talk about. And I actually released a piece of content on Instagram the other day about what your dream clients care about and what they don't care about. I also sent out a different version of that message to my email list. And the lesson that I want to get across is like, you get to have parameters for who your clients are, and you don't need to pander to every person on the internet just because they might pay you, right? Like, let's have a mature conversation about this. There are so many people on this planet who need what you have to offer, and you are the one with the medicine. You are the one with the gift. You are the one. And so you have the opportunity to actually be selective and to say, like, I don't want clients who, I don't know, need me to meet with them on the weekends. I don't want clients who won't join something if it's on Mondays because they can't bother themselves to watch a replay of something and they're busy on Mondays. Like, you get to be selective, you get to be really transparent with yourself. I don't want clients who X, Y, and Z. And that gets to really, really matter. And so, how can you get into a position where you love your clients even more? And that is part of what we're going to master in this membership. And then the final thing is temperance in reverse. And so, temperance to me speaks of balance, it speaks of equilibrium. It also speaks of like self discipline, like being willing to prioritize fiercely that which matters most to you and not settling for patterns of behavior that do not get you where you want to go. And a lot of times it's that self discipline that brings us to victorious places. It's that self discipline that brings us to the place that, we want to go. And so we have to be willing to like be honest with ourselves and be diligent with ourselves. So temperance in reverse here. I am going to consider this to be another one of those where you're going inward, and maybe you're a person who got your motivation externally and you were only showing up when other people were showing up. Or maybe you had self discipline, but you also were super hard on yourself and you got self discipline in a way that was not in line with self love. And so this idea of being willing to have self-discipline, but in a way that like honors you holistically and isn't about pushing yourself or forcing yourself, but really is about like loving yourself and being devoted to yourself and creating and cultivating self-discipline that way. That is something that the members are going to be mastering in this membership. And I think that's important because running a business is a lot of habits, it's a lot of routines, it's a lot of consistency. And if you don't have self discipline, it's going to go very poorly for you. Like, I'll just say that. Like, if you're not consistent and reliable for your business, just like with any other job, like, you won't go very far. And so we need to have the self discipline piece, but we also need to have an internal, like, compass for, are we loving ourselves? Are we being kind to ourselves? And the motivation for everything that we do needs to be that self love and that devotion to our bigger purpose and to our calling. Because people can be super self disciplined, but it's for an external reason. They want other people to respond to them a certain way. So they're going to act a certain way and they will push and manipulate themselves to act in a certain way and to take on certain habits and to show up in certain places and to do certain things. But it's all for external reasons. And this is where your desire to be disciplined and motivated comes from you. Your desire to stick to certain habits and routines and to be consistent in certain areas comes from you and what you want to do and your intrinsic willingness and your intrinsic devotion to the business that you feel called to create. So that is the Thrive membership. That is what we are going to be doing. I trust that this gave you a lot of really great information on whether or not it's for you. I love you so much. This has been such a beautiful reading. As always, I went longer than I thought I would, but I think it was for a reason. I think people really needed to hear everything that I said. And if you will be joining me in Thrive, you have until Wednesday, the 17th. Would love to see you in there, and I will see you again somewhere really soon. Take care.